right, we got punishments in videogames from your boy Josh Strife says. Okay, so we got him while he's on the treadmill. Okay, so this is curious.
This build is doing fine. The reason I can be a little bit risky with it is because I've just leveled up, so...
Oh, let me take a sec. Let me look at this. This setup is actually pretty decent. He's got that shit angled. He's all like upright. He's got it. I've seen this type of treadmill before. Huh. Actually, not that bad. And what's he playing? Lightning Arrow?
I don't really care if I die and lose the experience from this, because I'm not that close to
No, he's playing
level.
a monk.
Because you lose experience when you die. So, you only really want to be taking risks when you're at the start of a level. So you're not going to lose an absolute ton of stuff. Do you think losing XP in maps is good for the game? No. I think there should be a penalty, but it should not be experience loss.
Wait, what?
So you're not going to lose an absolute ton of stuff. You only really want to be taking risks when you're at the start of a level. So you're not going to lose an absolute ton of stuff. Do you think losing XP in maps is good for the game?
Oh, that's a good question. I've been playing this shit, and bro, I did the first little what do you call it? Like I got up to maps, but I only got up like past the first quest of like complete 10 tier 1 maps, and after that I was just like, I'm fucking bored. And then I reached like level 70, and I noticed whenever I died I was like, oh, my XP bar is down. I was like, okay, this is fucking stupid. Whatever. I'll just wait till they come back and fix the game. As far as like whether or not it's good for the game, I think so. I never played PoE 1, and I had no idea that getting to level 100 is actually like just the goal, like one goal that you can achieve, and it's not the goal. Like I think one of the main goals is to like defeat the final boss or whatever. What is it called? Like Zesht or something? I've only seen clips or whatever. I never did that shit. I wasn't really told that like once you reach about level like 70, it's or like 70 to 80, and then anything past that, it's really annoying to get XP. Like I think somebody said like once from like 80 to 90 and then 90 to 100, you're doing like you probably have done like thousands of maps. I was like, holy shit, that is so retarded. Why would anybody do that? Why would they do that? Again, I have to bring up this graph that game developers seem to absolutely fucking jizz their pants over. This type of graph, you all know it. You all love it. Let me see. Can I get a line in here? Shapes, line, this, and then you go that, bang. Shape again. You do this. Oh, you think it's linear? Oh, don't you? Nope, it ain't linear. Let's grab right about here, and oh, how flat's it gonna get, Cornel? Oh shit! This type of graph, you all know it. You all love it. Every live service game engages in this type of graph, and it's fucking annoying. Holy shit. It's so, like, I don't care how good everybody says the game is. Like, this is every live service game. Like, right here in this picture. And it's so annoying. This is everything. This is experience. This is damage. The damage you do. This is damage reduction. The armor. Energy shield. I go from doing 1 damage in the beginning to be able to do 36 million DPS. even like time commitment, time invested, FOMO. This is it. This is the shape of live service right here. Holy shit. And you can say, oh, Cornell, if you don't like it, stop playing live service. Okay, yeah, I will. But then again, what the fuck are my friends playing? They're all playing live service games, and sometimes I would want to just bullshit and play games with my friends. Like, holy shit, dude. Or maybe not all live service, probably just like grindy games. Yeah, just grindy live service games. It's like, Jesus Christ. It's so annoying. I hate it.
No, I think there should be a penalty.
Oh, about the XP when you die. Yeah, I think that's fucking stupid. It's already hard enough to get to like level 100. Most people don't get to level 100. I wasn't aware of that. If you do, that means you probably put in a couple hundred hours. I only have like 3 characters. One's at 70, one's at 60, another one's like 55 or something like that. I don't remember. And for me to think that I could dedicate hundreds of more hours on one character and not get bored, holy shit, that is some massive cope coming from these guys. Oh my god. But the end game, the super duper end game, Cornell, that's not for you. All right, that's for the super no lifers. Okay. Well, nobody told me. I'm just going into PoE too, thinking, oh, okay, let me just boot up some build. Let me get to like level 100, and then let me start farming gear. Then maybe I'll start like getting like farming bosses or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I'm just going off of whatever I played in D4. Like everybody was giving D4 shit when, what was it, the Nightmare Dungeons? When everyone was just spamming just Nightmare Dungeons from, what was it, like 70 or 80 to like level 100, and it's like, oh, it takes like 100 or 200 hours just to do that. It's like, it's about the same in fucking PoE 2. Are you kidding me? Just doing like a map, like it's really hard for me to find like the difference outside of the map type, in that this is the swamp map, this is the desert map, this is the map with all the fucking corridors and hallways, and it's like anti-minion map. Outside of that, and it's really hard to see like the differences between endgame D4 and this. I mean, that's just that's just endgame ARPGs, but I mean, whatever. Okay.
But it should not be experience loss. Experience loss is a... So, someone described it on Reddit really well. The game at higher levels is not hard, it's frustrating.
It's not hard, it's frustrating. That's provided you have like a decent build and a decent understanding of the game. Like, yeah.
People don't mind hard games.
Yeah.
Hard games are good. Take, for example, the original Dark Souls design of making you run all the way back to the bosses when you die. There's a huge amount of run back to a boss.
Ooh, the boss run backs. Ooh, that sounds super annoying. I don't know if I want to go back and play Dark Souls now. Fuck, there's boss run backs. That just seems like really fucking annoying. That, alongside with World of Warcraft, corpse runs back to bosses. If you like die in a raid, you have to go take your little corpse outside the raid, run back into the raid, and then you're at the beginning, and then you have to go back and run to the boss. It's like, motherfucker, let me just respawn right there. Oh no, the corpse run is an integral part of the gameplay. It makes you appreciate the actual boss kill even more. Well, you know what'll make me appreciate the game more? When I fucking leave and I rid myself of this burden.
Then take the Elden Ring design of just sticking the respawn point outside the front of the boss.
What an amazing gameplay design. Amazing.
People want to take on hard challenges. People want to play difficult things. They genuinely do. What they don't want to be is
They don't want to have their time wasted with dumb shit.
frustrated. So when you die and you lose all of your remaining portals and you lose your health, that's frustrating. We need to find a way to make the game hard without being frustrating. You don't want a feels bad mechanic. Let's say, for example, that you die on a map.
So ultimately, what is he talking about with like feels bad mechanics? I would say something that's relatable to every player is every player has time that they are investing. And when you die in a map or a boss or whatever, when you die, you have hopefully learned something about your death. If not, oh well. But you have also wasted your time. And that is one thing that nobody likes doing. Wasting their time.
And what you're then allowed to do is use the remaining portals you have to go back into the map and loot whatever you had missed. That way, you can take a couple of risks, but you know that if you die, you're losing out on any future loot. Because at the minute, there's just effectively one portal. Unless you want to return to town and sell some stuff, there's basically one portal. That's what you get. Like that. See, I died just there because of a ground explosion, and I'm going to miss out on the Regal Orb, the Wide Belt, the Skill Gem, whatever else would be there. I've got to resurrect in the hideout, and you'll notice that my experience has now gone back to empty. We're looking at the bar on the bottom of the screen just there.
Yeah, so there's a couple ways to do maps. The two main ways that I have discovered that people are doing is you take the safe path of like doing a little bit of the map, portaling out, like buying and picking up, or not buying, but like picking up things, filling up your inventory with whatever you want. And then once your inventory is full, you waste a portal, go out, sell everything, empty your inventory, go back in, go keep doing a little bit of the map, fill up your inventory, pour it out again. You do that until you got one little portal left. Then you kill the rest of the stuff on the map, and then boom, that's your last portal. And then bang, you're done. The more aggressive way to do maps is, and if you can only do this if you're like really confident in your build. Literally just go around the map and kill every single mob, do every little mini game, kill everything, don't port out, and then just run around the map again, pick up everything that you want, and then port out. All right. The first way takes longer. It just does. The second way, you can do that if you're just good at the game. You got a good understanding of what you're looking for and everything like that. Most people aren't going to do the second way. They're just not. I would probably guess more people are using every single portal, doing a little bit of the map, porting back and forth and back and forth. And when you do that, it feels like a single map can take way longer than what was intended. And so when you get, like, you watch all these videos, like, oh, everyone's like completing maps so like speedy and I'm taking it so slow, what's wrong? And it's like, oh shit, oh, what am I doing? I don't give a shit. It's literally just frustrating.
So level 79, I have gained 0 experience to the next level, and I have lost the juiced map that I made, and now I must effectively start again. I don't mind games being difficult. I like games being difficult. What I don't want is games to feel bad to lose at.
Yeah.
When I lose, I like to think, okay, let's go again.
Yeah.
When I lose to a boss in Elden Ring, I get that feeling of, I'm a bit better, I can go again.
Yeah.
When I lose to a high-level boss or a high-level map in this game, in Path of Exile 2, I want to quit the game.
True. Actually true, dude. Some genres that I feel are pretty good at reducing the frustration and trial and error of games are, hilariously enough, sports games do this really well. Racing games do this very well. Fighting games do this very well. Shooting games do this very well. What else? Roguelike type games do this excellently. What else? Trying to think. Single player? For the most part, most single player games, like single player story driven games, do this pretty well. They all have ways that don't entirely fuck the player over. If you want to get something and then you die, you're not set back too much. It doesn't feel like you've wasted your time. If you like misplayed or do something wrong in like any of the other types of games, you know, in fighting games, you have the lab. You go and practice your combos, figure out footsies, you know, go grind the ladder some more, figure out some holes in your play. Shooting games, go practice your aim. Oh, surprise. Sports games, this play countered that play in whatever way. Every other game type hits this mark pretty well, except these live service grindy games that want to punish you for dying. I am a casual player playing a live service game. I have morphed my opinion of live service games used to be casual. Single player games were for hardcore people. Now it's the opposite. Live service games are for hardcore people. Single player games are for casual people. So I got into this game and I've had a lot of fun with it. It's not like the worst thing in the world. I do think it is better than D4. But it's the end game. Yeah, it feels super punishing. I make mistakes all the time. Absolutely.
I just want to close the program and go into something else. And any mechanic that makes a player want to close your game is not great.
Boo.
Take, for example, the Citadel bosses. You could travel all the way to a Citadel boss, and you get one chance at that Citadel boss. One. If you die to that Citadel boss, you don't get to try again. You have to spend another 10, 20, sometimes even 30 hours trying to find another Citadel. I would like it if you could die to the Citadel boss and keep trying again and again and again and again and again, and then when you beat it, you get rewards based on how many...
Everybody loves the bosses in PoE 2, but to practice against the boss, it feels like the community is like kind of against it, but I don't really know why. This is just like a guess, a feels over reals type of thing. Oh, you can't practice the boss. It's against the spirit of the game or whatever. It's like, bro, I don't give a shit about that. If I'm versing a boss and I die to it, just spawn me right back at the beginning and just let me go again.
How many tries it took you to beat it? Does that sound like an extreme idea? So why have I switched back to my sorceress like this? Well,
Bro, this is literally what I would do. I am flabbergasted that he's doing the same thing I did. Bro, if I died on my like level 70 like little minion bro to some dumb shit, I'm like, fuck this. I'm going to a different character. Because it feels like I have wasted my time for the day, where I could play a different character and like have some incremental gains, get a level done or whatever, keep going on the story. Great, whatever. This is hilarious to me because I did the same thing.
Like playing the Gemling Legionnaire. What I don't like is the brutal setback that dying on it gets me. Which is why everyone is using the Spark Mage to level and grind for items.
Because it is, the more you try to punish players, the more players will try to not get punished. That's why metas exist in games. And especially PvE games. This is a PvE game. And there's a meta. Spark, Storm Weaver, Reaver, Mage, whatever. 50% of the players are playing this class in a PvE game. I'm not talking about PvP. I'm not talking about shooting games. It's Counter-Strike, CS, or Counter-Strike, Valorant, Marvel Rivals, Overwatch, Fortnite. Oh, there's metas in there. It's expected to play the good shit. But this is a PvE game. This is supposed to be about creativity and having fun. Where's the creativity and having fun when half of your player base is playing one class?
Because you just die less. That's what it is. People are finding grinding builds that die less to create builds they actually want to play, which are riskier. It is the kind of gameplay that actually demands you play slightly safer. Now, I'm sure people will say, oh yeah, it's a trade-off between power and defense. Someone said to me once that ranged characters are better than melee characters
Oh yeah, let me hear.
on account of the fact that they can stay far away.
Yep. This is true. I am learning. The more I stay as like a casual internet tourist that just bounces from game to game, if you want to have like a very casual experience in any game, pick the range class. It doesn't matter if it's the magic one or the arrow shooting one or the gun shooting one. Just pick any range class and you will probably be fine. That is what I am learning, and probably what I'm going to do for Monster Hunter Wilds.
And that's not necessarily ranged characters. That's just the distance you can be from an enemy.
Yeah.
Because a ranged character can still play as melee if it benefits them. And a melee character can...
And it's funny what in this game is that a lot of the times the mobs just end up in your grill anyway. They just end up in your face and you just keep spamming. So it's like a pseudo melee half the time. But that's the thing. A range can have the option of going into melee if they want to, but they would prefer to stay at range. A melee character doesn't have the option of fighting at range.
Cannot play as ranged if it benefits them. There is a passive skill node that gives rangers more damage the closer they are to an enemy.
Yep.
So a ranged class has the option of being close or far away.
Oh, didn't even pre-watch. I am actually psychic.
A melee class does not have that option. You glad you didn't try the citadels? So if you found a citadel on a map, you've obviously been playing it for a while. It takes a hell of a long time to find. If you find a citadel and you fail at the boss, which you probably will do because they're bloody hard and they will one-hit you, you can't try again. That's it. This is another reason why one-hit builds are so popular. It's one of the reasons that I'm building this right now. I actually don't want to try and take on the mechanics of a citadel boss.
Yeah.
Because I know the longer I spend in that boss fight, the greater the chance of me eventually
making a mistake and dying.
So, statistically, the best thing for me to do is kill the bosses in as few hits as possible.
Yeah. But then again, to go against this goes back to the argument of, oh, you're just following a build to play a game that somebody else has already solved versus you trying to make your own build and be a unique snowflake and have the fun and joy and dopamine of getting to endgame with your own build. We could have that argument too, but I don't feel like it.
That's it. Being punished for failure is okay.
Being punished for failure is stupid because you failed. That is enough punishment, period. You didn't do the thing. Go back. Go back to go. Do not collect, or go to jail. Do not collect $200. You're in jail. That's punishment enough. You didn't do the thing that you wanted to do. Okay, bang. Now you're going to stack on more negatives, more minus signs, more down thumbs, more debuffs, more down stonks, down arrows. What is it called? Lost. There's like a big finance term. Unrealized gains. Lost gains, lost unrealized gains. Yeah. You don't need to tack on all that shit. The player wasn't able to do the thing. That's punishment enough. Why is that punishment not good enough, Mr. Developer? Riddle me that.
However, the way that I see the design, and
the more you try to tack on all these negative things that go along with failure, the more your player base is just going to be polarized around the best build of the season.
again, I'm not a game designer. I don't run or own Path of Exile 2. But the way that I see game design is this. Let's say that you are at a certain stage, an amount of experience, an amount of items, whatever you need, and you go into a boss fight, and you lose. What should we then reset the player to? What should the loss be?
Yeah. Let's see. What should that be? Let me hear.
Because what the loss used to be within arcade terms was put more money in, try and play the game again. If you go into a boss fight and you use a couple of items and then you die, do we respawn you outside the boss room with those items? Some people would say yes, some people would say no. Do we respawn you far away from the boss room with the items or without the items? Do we respawn you far away from the boss room one level lower than you were when you tried? How much punishment do we give the player for failure? Now, me personally, I think that what you should lose is the time you have spent trying the boss. Because that already has a value. Everyone's time has a value.
Yep.
If you are in a boss fight for 10 minutes and you die and then you respawn, what you have lost is those 10 minutes. What you have gained within those 10 minutes is knowledge of the game, knowledge of the boss, skill within the game. So yeah, you actually don't feel that you've lost those 10 minutes as much as invested those 10 minutes in your skill of the game. This is exactly why Dark Souls is considered such a good game. You can, with enough investment and enough skill, actually beat the game at level 1. Same with Elden Ring, you can do it with no hitting. This is because the time invested in the game is not removed from you when you die. It is simply invested within your own skill. Let's take this to Path of Exile 2. When you die past level 70 in a map in Path of Exile 2, you lose all the items that you didn't pick up on the map, even if you can see them, which is a very feels bad mechanic.
Oh yeah.
You lose...
Like, for that alone... So you plug your map, you got all your little modifiers, you go around killing stuff, the items drop, but you don't want to go pick up the items. You just want to keep killing mobs because that feels better instead of going back and forth and back and forth. You know, you're playing cleanup with all your loot and bullshit, whatever. Why not implement some sort of like mailbox system that a lot of other grindy type games have, where if you loot, if you, if you kill the mob and it drops the loot and you don't pick it up, it just goes into like a little mailbox. And you, like, if you don't pick up anything and you beat the map and you don't pick up anything, you just go to your mailbox and all your loot is right there. And you have to go pick up those items from that mailbox. Because if you don't and you just plug another map, you will lose all those items in that little mailbox. What's wrong with that? This is just like a knee-jerk, just thinking off the cuff.
The map as well. You can't go back into it. You also lose 10% experience. So, however, if you were, 15% of the way to the next level, you're now down to 5.
Yep.
This disincentivizes dying.
Yep.
This basically...
Well, yeah, besides dying in and of itself.
Says, hey, don't die. No matter what you do, don't die.
Yep.
But then you've got rarity as an item find mechanic.
Oh, here we go.
On items. I don't think I've got anything with rarity on it. See if I can find something with it on. I don't think I'm wearing any. Oh, there we go, my helmet. 12% increased rarity of items found. So you need to balance how much damage you're doing, how much defense you've got,
Yep.
and how much rare item find you have.
Yep.
So if you have a...
In a game where you do not get to control the stats on your gear, every stat is a gamble.
build that can one-shot a final boss, it makes sense to take no defense at all and just build up an absolute load of rarity and a load of offense. That's what you need to do. This is your farming build, but you don't use rarity found. What makes it a farming build? I haven't got to the end of the game yet. I'm not doing maps with this character yet. Once I get to the end of the game with maps, all this character will be is maxed out damage and rarity find. That's all it will be. Now, one thing that I have come to resent about defense is if you can be one-shot at maximum defense, what is the point?
Because that's what the developers have designed the game around. They are thinking 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps ahead. The game is balanced around you having 75 plus resist, some amount of life, some amount of energy shield, some amount of armor, and some amount of evasion. Yeah, they have already taken that into account.
Of defense. If you can just be literally one-hit killed immediately, why don't you just go with maximum damage?
That is actually a pretty good logic. I never thought about it like that until he just said it. Wow. Well, I would imagine because you want to be able to shrug off the small and potentially medium hits, but you can't really do anything about one-shots, so you have to invest in defense.
Because that way, the quicker the enemy dies, the better.
That's also true. God damn it.
And unfortunately, that is what a lot of builds are now going for. Now, again, I must say I love this game. I think the first 3 acts of this game are phenomenally good. The end game
agree.
Definitely needs tweaking.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tweaks that need to be done to the end game. It's not bad, and again, it is early access, which is what we're trying to discover where the tweaks need to go to. That's the kind of whole point of us playing. But
Damn, that's so much shit. Jesus.
Right now, it's full of feels bad mechanics. You definitely don't want someone playing your game, dying, and thinking, well, I'm done. And unfortunately, at the minute, that is happening a lot.
Yep.
That's the problem.
Yep, that's what happened to me. I'm just taking a break until they fix their game.
I do not mind hard games. I do mind unfairly punishing games. Let's say that you have an hour to play, and this is what I think a lot of people forget. The vast majority of people don't have a hell of a lot of free time to play video games.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky in that
Well, I guess it depends on whether or not like you're a kid versus a teenager versus a young adult versus an adult, someone in their 30s or 40s or 50s, 60s. Then again, this video game isn't really aimed at anybody, I would imagine. To anybody in their 50s plus. That's not the target audience, understandably. That's... I mean, it's a fucking video game.
I do have free time. It's my job. And if we were at college or uni, you guys probably have free time as well. If you're unemployed, you've got free time.
Yeah.
Although, again, most of that time it's not exactly free. Being unemployed is remarkably stressful.
Oh, yeah.
Most people don't have 4 to 5 hours a day to play a game. They would like to, but they don't. So if they play a game for 3 hours, and they have fun and they enjoy it, and then they die, and they lose 3 hours worth of progress,
Ooh, that feels
While,
bad.
in a way, yes, they have still gained 3 hours worth of knowledge, because we were talking about the formation of knowledge earlier. Is the gaining of 3 hours worth of knowledge worth knowing that you have to do that 3 hours again?
In that situation, I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, because think about it, bro. It's just an ARPG. I mean, let's say you're like following a build and whatnot. Let's say you have like maybe you're playing like the one character. You've played through normal Act 1 through 3. Maybe you played through Cruel Act 1 through 3. So that's a good amount of mobs. You got a good idea of like what all the mobs do, even if you don't remember. Like you see a mob and be like, oh, that big old gigantic skeleton, he's gonna fall on me, and he's got a disjointed hitbox. I better get away from him, because he's just gonna fall and do like a lollipop imprint. Yep, that's all the knowledge gain is. Seeing a mob, realizing what its main attack is, or realizing what all the modifiers do on a rare mob. That's it.
Is it worth knowing that you lost the progress you made with the limited time that you have?
And I think it's... See, look at this. Rare mob periodically releases lightning, but also lightning resistant. Okay.
I feel at the minute the game, the end game at least, is balanced for players like me.
Yes.
It's fair.
The games are balanced, like I said, for people that have a lot of time to spend, and generally that's the hardcore player, not the casual player.
For people like me who can spend hundreds of hours grinding the same thing. If I make a mistake that costs me 30 hours worth of gameplay, I'm just thinking, oh, that's like 3 days. If someone who plays an hour a day makes a mistake that costs them 30 hours worth of gameplay, they're going to need to grind for a month to get back to where they were. And that knowledge alone of do you want to do the same thing for a month, that puts people off. Now, of course, Path of Exile is a game designed about restarting again and again and again and again and again. You know, every time there's a league, we start again. You're not meant to get to level 100.
Yeah. I wish my buddies told me that. Like, why didn't they fucking tell me that? You, like, at best, you will probably reach somewhere between 70 and 80. If you're, like, decent, you could get, like, maybe a little bit, like, 80 plus. Like, you're definitely not hitting 90. You ain't that guy, pal. You don't got that much time.
But it still sucks when you lose stuff that you put time into. What is the consequence of dying in Path of Exile 1? I'm actually not sure. I'm not up to date with that right now.
Yeah, I didn't play PoE 1. I don't know anything about fucking anything PoE 1. This is just over my head. Don't know, don't care.
In chat on that. I mean, as long as you are enjoying the process of playing the game, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Yeah. Enjoying the process of playing is great. The problem is when the process of playing gets kind of somewhat overshadowed by the knowledge that you must do a lot of work again. That's what irritates people. And it's also why one-shot builds end up becoming the meta.
Yep.
Why do the graphics look like garbage? First of all, it's because I'm playing it at 600 pixels tall. But second, maybe it's because I started playing video games in the early 90s. But to me, even at 600 pixels, this still looks kind of fine.
I was going to ask that because you saw me check, what is it, down here? I was like, what the fuck is going on? Maybe that's on his end. But I was just going to let it pass, but he read that.
Maps should be 3 lives and plus or lives modifiers. Yeah, that could be cool. People used to complain that maps having 6 portals effectively meant you had what they called the 6 portal defense. if you died, you just try it again. You had 6 times on every map. And I'm thinking, okay, do that. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Someone actually asked Jonathan why maps still have 6 portals if you're going to lose them after 1 death. And he replied, because there were 6 portals in the marketing materials.
Wow. Huh. This is your game, guys, that you want to champion as the best ARPG. This is it.
6 portals was the best glass cannon defense, without a doubt. And someone said to me, yeah, but with 6 portals, that just means everyone will be playing a glass cannon.
People are going to play glass cannon regardless. That's how most people play. People like to play games to do damage. People don't play games to be the iron wall. Okay? Now, granted, some people do, and those people would be outliers, but those people are not to be used as the main thing. Most people, if you ask them what do you like to do in video games, they will say, I like to deal damage. Fight me on this. Like, come on.
Everyone's playing a glass cannon with 1. You're not going to change the meta of the builds by giving people more or less.
You're not going to change the meta of the culture of people that play these types of games in the first place. The meta of the culture is deal more damage.
Portals. Right now, defense is effectively worthless. By saying, hey, you can try again, it will actually it will increase build variety. Right now, build variety is, can I kill the boss in 1 second before he does any mechanics?
Yeah.
Because chances are I can't survive the mechanics.
Yeah.
If the way to beat your game is to skip mechanics. Like, I've literally had people say to me, hey, the best way to beat Geonor in Cruel is to burn him down.
Yeah. That's the best way to do it. Just deal damage. Don't bother going into phase 1, phase 2, and then rinse and repeat. Let him transform, go into phase 1, phase 2 again. Go through that fucking little fog thing where he's like zipping around. Then you gotta fight all the mobs in the center. Then he comes out of it and you gotta deal with him like jumping up and coming down. And then he does the cone of frost. And then he'll do the ice spears or the ice beams of frost. And then if you the fight goes on too long, he will eventually have red beams alongside of the ice beams. And it's like, no. No one should be trying for that style of kill. Everyone is trying to deal the most damage in the least amount of time.
Before he does the special ice attack. I mean, okay, so your solution to the game is to do so much damage you don't have to engage with the mechanics because the mechanics are so inherently punishing.
Yes.
That doesn't sound great. That's not the ideal.
It's not ideal, but that's the culture.
What was I building? I've got 1 point to put into something. Where was it going?
I don't know.
What were we doing with the
Some either lightning or energy shield. That looks pretty good.
points? Hang on. Let me just test something. So increased energy shield. 1415. Does that increase that?
Yep.
No, it does not.
It went from no, yeah, it did. It went from 16 something to 18. Yep, you gained like 200 something ES.
But does it increase anything else? No. Maybe we want to go with life. That is maximum mana as energy shield. Okay, energy is 1,827. That's good. That's a good amount of energy shield to have.
Yep, you always get more. Always more.
Become strong enough to skip part of the game.
Yep.
Having 1 portal has... Yeah, that's also another good point. Having 1 portal doesn't really affect the extremely rich, powerful players. It punishes people doing off-meta things.
Yep.
It punishes a casual player who says, hey, you know what? I'm going to make my own build. I'm going to do my own...
Said, I would love to see the amount of people that didn't play PoE 1, their first game in this franchise is PoE 2, and they started to do their own thing, their own build, and then once the guide started coming out, they decided to just respec and follow guide. But those people, and then the people that continued to try to make their own build, I would love to see that statistic.
I'm going to make my own choices. If you want to encourage people to do non-meta things, you have to not punish them.
Yeah, the whole respec bullshit, costing a shit ton of gold. Yeah, that's annoying. Why are you gonna force me to spend gold when I'm trying to like experiment and be creative and have fun, instead of just looking at my other screen and following Joe Schmo's build? Is that how you want me to play the game, devs? Because I will. And I would imagine most people playing your game right now. Let me see. Steam charts. PoE 2. Where's my damn mouse? Oh. I would imagine that's how most of these people are playing. They are following a build. Ooh. Number go down. Let's see if it goes back up when the season 1 starts. Let's see how much it goes up. That's going to be the deciding factor, boys. And I knew it was going to get, this number was going to get cut in half. I knew that. This game is not that much less complicated than PoE 1. One of the main differences is, from my understanding, because I didn't play PoE 1, is they took the color specific gem slots away from the armor, and all the gem slots that were in the armor, they just stuck it in a menu over there. And you have like your main skill gem and then all your little support gems, and they took that requirement out. And yeah, other than that, it's basically the same game. Okay, that is -1 speed bump of complexity. The game is still pretty complex from a casual perspective.
For doing non-meta things. There is a reason that everyone is copying there's a reason that I'm doing this right now.
I'm not a fucking mathematician. I don't know how to figure out all this shit to make some build that I like. If I go this way in the tree, but then I take a U-turn and go this way, and I plan out my build, assuming I will hit about, let's say 65 or 70. I have that many points plus the extra ones during, the story ones you get. Okay, I can plan out. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not. I'm figuring out, I can get this requirement for this skill if I get this stat on this piece of gear. No, I'm not doing that. Well, then you're not playing the game how it was intended. Okay.
It's because if I don't do this, the punishments outweigh the rewards. Right now, dying is more punishing than not dying.
Oh yeah, and I forgot to say, half of these motherfuckers are playing Spark Stormweaver. Just as a reference. Half of these people, 120 something people, 120k people are playing Spark Stormweaver.
It makes you reluctant to take on bosses. If you discover a Citadel boss and you know that you only get one chance at it, what's the first thing you're going to do? Google it or YouTube it. That's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
If you know that you get one chance at this difficult boss, you're going to watch a guide on how to do it. You're not going to learn by playing, which is super annoying. I think what they were going for kind of like Dark Souls Elden Ring. But I don't think they understood that Dark Souls Elden Ring is punishing. But it's punishing in the moment. It's not punishing for failure. It actually, I try to explain to someone, it actually doesn't punish you for failing. It lets you try as much as you possibly want. It's difficult to succeed, yes. But when you lose, it doesn't take anything else away from you. Apart from the items that you chose to use in that fight. They are single-use items.
Yeah.
It's weird as well that Path of Exile 2 starts as Dark Souls and ends as Vampire Survivors, where you just have an...
Oh my god. That is the truest true I have ever heard. Starts as Dark Souls, ends as Vampire Survivors. Bro, I see these random ass YouTube videos popping up in my feed of all the usual suspects. People just like taking like some mace build, smacking one mob, everything explodes on the screen, blinking 5-10 times, doing the same thing, smack the mob, everything explodes. Or you got like some lightning arrow bro just running and blinking, just spamming like lightning arrow, just bang 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 everywhere. You see like some minion bro with like 30 minions on the screen, and this guy in the center is just like, what's that like Sable Ronaldo meme where he's singing that like one song, you know that one. Oh my god.
An absolute screen full of particle effects and physically can't die.
That's a really great analogy. Jesus. Starts as Dark Souls, ends as Vampire Survivors. That's literally what it is. You get the same amount of dopamine from like, and this is the thing that roguelikes do way better than all this like time investment bullshit. Grindy games. They can nail the end game of this style of game way better than this actual ARPG. This is what roguelikes excel at.
Dark Souls punishes you for giving up. It does. That's with the phrase, don't go hollow. It punishes you for stopping trying. Whereas Path of Exile 2 punishes you for failure and simply doesn't let you try again. And that's what's irritating people. It's not that they don't want to try again. It's that they can't. Like if I'm at 99% experience and I've got a tier 12, 13, 14 difficult map, I'm then thinking, I don't want to do that because failing on that would remove so much progress. So if I'm at 99% experience at the next level, I'm actually going to grind a load of really easy tier 1 maps.
Jesus Christ, the actual mention of the word grind is just so off-putting to the original target audience that they intended for this game to be. One of the main target audience they wanted to bring into PoE was make the game more accessible. And I don't remember if he actually said like, who's the main dude? Jonathan? I don't know. But like the main dude was like, we want to make the game more accessible to a more casual player base. Maybe he said that, maybe he did or did not say the word casual, whatever. But it means about the same thing as making a game more accessible. And all of these punishments simply go against that.
Just to get the level. Because the failure punishment is far too great.
Can you like down level? If you reach like some, like, let's say you just hit like level 72 and you don't even have like a snippet of like XP, can you down level?
Yeah, once you have all 3 citadels buying them, who is going to invest that much currency in getting something and then immediately dying? It's a real shame. So what do you guys think about the balance of what should the punishment for failure be? Because remember in...
Okay, punishment for failure in maps. I like my little mailbox idea of, whatever items you got, you killed the mobs, and if you didn't get to loot them, yeah, great. Just send them to the mailbox and then just go pick them up. Um, I don't really like the XP loss. That seems pretty stupid. Like, I would have to ask myself, what is the goal of all of these punishments? To prevent players from getting to max level? Why? Is the game just play completely ridiculous at max level? I would assume so. What is so bad about more players reaching level 100? What is the negative thing that happens to the game at that point? That's what I would ask the game devs.
Like, if we go back to the SNES era. I know, bear with me. Go back to the SNES era. Games like The Lion King, games like Aladdin, games designed to be difficult. They were meant to be difficult, and when you died and lost all your lives, you went back to the start menu.
Yeah.
What was the point of going back to the start menu? Well, the point was, those games were still designed with arcade mentality in mind, and they were designed to be blockbuster rental games. They weren't meant to be beaten in one sitting because you couldn't release DLC for the game at that time, and you didn't want people to feel ripped off having paid 50 or 60 quid for one game and completing it in 3 to 4 hours. So, they just made the games really bloody hard. That was the plan. Make games incredibly difficult. People will feel good when they beat them because of how long it took them to do. That was very much a quantity issue. And the arcade still had the mentality of put more money in, get more game. But maybe this losing experience thing is not the only thing. Maybe this is a perfect point you just put in the chat. Maybe it is simply a smaller element of the larger thing, which is defense feels bad. There is a reason so many of the builds...
Well, I mean, we now know that, like, energy shield is top tier, evasion is like a tier below that, and then the armor is just total complete garbage due to water. Life and life regen is just hilarious bad. As far as resistances go, it's not like, you have to think your cap, unless you get like a node or something. Otherwise, the cap is 75 resistance. But it's not really 75 resistance. I don't know, but like every time you like increase an act, you get minus 10 resistance. So it's not actually 75 resistance. It's more like, what is it? Like plus 10, plus 85, 95, 105. Was it like 105 resistance? Or maybe like 115, 125 resistance you need for like lightning, fire, frost, chaos.
are all about do lots of damage and not don't die. Because do lots of damage is the best way to not die. Also, this guy saps your mana, so...
Oh yeah, this shit's fucking annoying.
Just...
Oh yeah, this blue circle, fuck this blue circle. Siphons mana, deals lightning damage, extra chaos dam, Shroud Walker, don't even know what that is, periodically enrages. Okay.
Keep drinking potions. I don't mind hard games. I like hard games. What I dislike is being punished for failure in a way that makes me not want to try again.
Yep. True.
I try and visualize these things because I find it very easy to visualize and understand a concept when it's visualized for me. And I explained it like this. Hopefully this will visualize it for you guys as well. Imagine a line of where you are within the game. And wherever you take on the boss is where you start on the line. Make my camera bigger for this so you understand, because this is important.
Okay, let me follow along. Line. Let's do a big line. Actually, line. Oh, well, we'll see how that goes.
Hopefully you'll understand this.
Oh!
Imagine you're playing a video game and you're fighting a boss, you're taking something on. It's a line of where you are. You start at a point, let's say point A. If you beat the boss, you get to point B. What happens if you fail? Well, if you fail, you should just reset to point A. The problem with punishment mechanics is when you fail, they actually set you to before A.
They send you back to negative B, negative C, negative D. And those aren't real.
And that's what feels bad. Knowing that failure will not only mean you have to try again, but mean that you have lost previous success. Maybe that's what it is. Talking to you guys really helps me understand how these systems all work, by the way. That's what this is. Failure is not just isolated to failing that individual moment.
It's about big risk, big reward, small incremental gains at the risk of a huge loss in order to weed out the not true gamer. That's what it is. That's what it's all about. Are you a real gamer? Can you get to the end taking one little baby step at a time? Because if you get knocked back too many times, you're just going to quit. You're not a real gamer.
Failure in this game actually retroactively removes previous success.
Yep.
That's what it is. We've figured it out. That's what the feels bad mechanic is. And that's the easiest way to explain it. It's loss of progression. The failure... A success in this game does not add to future successes, but a failure does remove past successes. That's what it is. Got it. We've worked it out. We've been smart. We've worked it out. This is how you make... This is how we work out those sign bites, those knowledge. You genuinely help, guys.
Nice.
I try and... Whenever I was teaching, I used to explain to people the process of learning, the process of understanding something. Process of making drama, specifically. I would say to someone... A student will come to me and say, hey, I have an idea, but I don't think it's very good. And I'd say, look, truth be told, it's probably not very good. But think about the process of creation, the process of learning, the process of education. Think about it like this. Imagine you are driving a truck, and it's a flatbed truck, and in the flatbed, there's a ton of rocks. Loads of rocks, all different sizes. Now somewhere within those rocks is a nugget of gold. Maybe a ruby, maybe a diamond. Something valuable is in there. The more raw material you bring me, the longer we can spend going through the pile of rocks to find the good stuff. No one drives up with a truck full of gold.
Yep.
Everyone drives up.
Well,
with
there are some people that they just spawn in and they not only do they have a truck full of gold, the truck is gold, the road is gold, the spoon is silver, and you can feel what I'm getting at. That's some people, but 99% of people, it's what he's going for.
the truck full of stuff, and some of it is good. That's what I would explain to all of my students. I'd say, look, if you bring me 100-page script, maybe one of those pages is absolute gold. We'll take it, we'll work it, we'll workshop it, we'll make it better. You bring me 100 ideas, maybe one of them is good. The difficulty is finding the time to go through all of the other stuff.
Yep.
So when someone says to me, I've got an idea but it's bad, probably is. But I guarantee part of it is probably very good. We just need to interrogate it for long enough. We need to mine it for ideas. We need to understand what it is. For example, Grand Theft Auto. And this is what game testing is all about. That's what we're doing now. There are some really good ideas in Path of Exile 2. I love them. However, there are some ideas that need refinement. So, imagine Grand Theft Auto. When they were beta testing Grand Theft Auto, the original GTA, back on the PC and PlayStation, the whole being chased by the police thing was a punishment for failure. You would fail your missions, you would run someone over, you would be chased by the police. That's what you would do.
That's like the fun part about the game.
And that was actually considered bad. But when they were watching the beta testers for the game, they discovered that actually the beta testers were provoking the police on purpose. And they were enjoying the process of running away from them. And the developers sat back and went, hang on, maybe the idea that we had in our minds of what this game was, maybe that's not what the game is. Maybe we've brought our playtesters a truck full of gold, and they have found gold that we weren't even looking for. Emergent gameplay. That's what it was. And that's when the developers said, hey, okay, you know what? We're going to pivot our design direction, and we're going to work on this instead.
Hopefully, the game devs can have that much foresight, forethought. What's the one word where it's like you're open to other ideas? Whatever that word is, I forgot. Hopefully, they can have. Is it hubris? Or no, that's ego. I don't fucking know. Hopefully, they're open to like new ideas.
That's why the most important thing that a school can do, and again, I know I rant about this a lot, but education is very important to me. The most important thing a school can and should do is instill a love of learning, a curiosity of the world.
Ah, man. When I was in school, I loved learning because I could learn at my own pace and I could put things together that made sense in my head, but I described to someone else and they're like, how did you arrive at that? I'm like, I know it don't make sense to you, but it makes sense to me like that. Like, I wish there's a piece of me that wishes I could like win the lotto and just go and just, I don't know, like go take a class, go learn about it, go take another class, go learn about that class, whatever it is. Because at the time, and this is something that I wasn't really like this in high school. High school, I was like an average, like C, B, maybe an A here or there type student. It was only like my first couple years in like college. I was like, oh wow, this is actually pretty cool. But you know, shit, I'm like 35 now, so that's I have to be an adult now.
World. The idea of, hey, what's this? How does it work? Who was that? What did they think? Can I do this or that or the other? The point of a school is not to force rote memorization onto students. That just creates factory workers. And there's nothing wrong with working in a factory. I've worked in a factory for a long time. But it doesn't encourage the individual.
I mean, to be honest, a factory doesn't have to look like an actual factory. A factory can take on the guise of a town, a city, a neighborhood. That's the factory.
Excellence of anyone. The point of school is to encourage curiosity. What it does right now is kill it. If you want a child to enjoy Shakespeare, let them watch a good company producing it. If you want a child to hate Shakespeare, make them read it.
Oh,
so
that's
this all
funny.
got onto the idea of how do we encourage good ideas? How do we find good ideas? Well, we take an absolute load of bad ideas and find the gold within them. It takes a while, but it's worth it.
Dang, dude. Josh spitting facts yet again. What an actual dubski. Dang. Uh, yeah. A lot of the stuff I agree with him 100%. And yeah, good video. Good little chunk, dude. For sure. Uh, yeah, I love watching these. These are awesome. Like little conversational pieces. Perfect. Love it. Yeah, well, that's pretty much it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, later.